Welcome into Not Wasting Time. Today, we are going to discuss the Justice League, the Snyder Cut. A very long movie. In fact, hold on. Now I'm getting echo because, or whatever. So, I enjoyed it. I did like it. I divorced myself from all other DC comics that I've known. And looking at it that way, I thought it was pretty good. I know we might have a dissenting opinion here. So let's go with Chris since he's going to agree with me. What'd you think?
I like this movie.
Okay, so Chris, no, and Russ, what did you think? I think Russ is frozen.
He's happy about it, though.
Either that or he left the stream.
Yeah, he might have done that, too.
So he said, I love this movie. It was one of the best movies I ever saw.
No.
All right, so
there were some things.
Oh, no, there were some things that I really liked about
that
this
I did
movie,
like about it, but overall, all right, I'm gonna reset and come back. Okay.
All right, I'll see. So let's get first thing first. Let's do some housekeeping. Thank you, Dean from the Live Place, for hosting Not Wasting Time on the Live Place. You want to find a family-friendly streamer? Go to theliveplace.com. He does it for free. He does it for us, and he puts a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I appreciate the time he puts in for it. Yeah, and let's go to the chat. In the chat, we have Kenzie Days. I don't know.
Kenzie.
She's familiar.
I think, yeah. I've seen her before.
I've seen her a lot. Kenzie Days, I've seen about an hour's worth of the movie, and it was decent. I didn't expect Cyborg to make it. I didn't expect Cyborg to make an appearance. Welcome in Walt from Mouse Talk. Good afternoon. Daniel Disinfinity. Catherine Willoughby, also welcome in. Mike Wheeler, gobble gobble, buddy.
Howdy.
Good Donnie Sean, John Bow, brother. So, I liked it. I didn't even really mind the first cut. I mean, I didn't pay too much attention to the bad CGI lip. It was a little too campy for me, and but that's just because who they brought in for it. I think when DC hired Josh Whedon, was it Josh? No, yeah, Josh
Whedon.
When they brought him in, I think they tried to get that Marvel feel out of it, and the way it was set up and all the upcoming to it, it didn't have that Marvel feel to it, and it shouldn't have tried to have that Marvel feel.
Yeah.
Kenzie Days, I mean, just overall, I don't like DC. I don't really feel like dedicating this much time to it. Yeah. Is that better, Russ?
It should be.
Tina McNeil, welcome in. Hello, Chris. Kenzie, welcome in. Annie Coog, welcome in also. So, Russ, let's get your opinion. What did you think?
Okay. I liked most of the changes that he made to the original. I liked most of the changes, but why in the world does it need to be 4 hours? I mean, seriously, why?
You know what they truly could have done with the Justice League is what Disney did with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and what they did with they could have taken all those parts of this.
They could
movie,
have and done all the different parts.
And they could have put that out on HBO Max as a limited series. I think that would have worked better.
I think that if he had kept the same length, and I mean, I watched the little 5-minute making of thing afterwards too, just to see what it was. And he talks about, oh well, I was so excited because I didn't have a time constraint. It's like, yeah, you didn't have a time constraint. I'm glad you didn't go 10 hours because I mean, he could have. I mean, I think that he, for one thing, why did everything have to be in slow motion? Like, everything. They broke the budget on slow-mo and dolly shots. I mean, it was insane. Every scene starts with a dolly shot, and it works its way through the scene, coming to the hero standing there posing, and I mean, it's every scene.
Well, I mean, but I think that's Snyder's reaction. So
I know.
So let's see. Kadani San said, "I liked both cuts of this movie. Snyder said it was a little too long. I agree. There are some things he could have cut out of this." Yeah. Kenzie Day says, "I don't like Batman. I leave you with that statement and goodbye." That's Kenzie. And Mouse Walt says, "I am not happy with the DCU. But that being said, some of the best comic movies are DC movies. Dark Knight trilogy, which I agree they handled the Dark Knight trilogy very well. Superman 2, and both of those. I mean, I remember those are my first Superman. Those are my first comic book movies that I remember growing up. I mean, how could you beat Christopher Reeve as Superman?
Yeah.
But and then the original Batman, Michael Keaton. In fact, when we were watching this last night when Kenzie was in for a little bit, she said, "Who's your favorite Batman?" And I said, "Michael Keaton." I mean, don't get me wrong, Christopher Bale is close second.
Christian Bale, yeah.
Christian Bale. What'd I say?
Christopher.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. Welcome in, Amy, AJC Magic.
So I did I found a side-by-side comparison of everything. I don't know if you did or not, or if you looked at it or not. But
no, I just literally finished the movie because I watched it yesterday when I got out of work because I knew I wanted to talk about this today. I knew I was going to invite you two guys because you're both big comic book guys. I'm a comic, a hero movie guy. I've never really got into the comic books themselves. So I rely on what I remember seeing as a kid. I mean, the Superman, the animated series, I love that.
That was a great series.
Yeah. And the Batman, the animated series, was an awesome series. Yeah. I loved those two series growing up, which growing up, I was still in my 20s or 18, 19, 20. I mean, I still would watch them today because they were great movies. Even with the Justice League and some of the stuff, I liked those movies when I was growing up or when I was just, that was like 5 years ago. I was 20. So for me, I like the progression of what he did there. Did he add some stuff that didn't need to be there? Absolutely. He added a lot of stuff that didn't need to be there. But,
and he changed quite a bit, too, from the original. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I think what I watched tonight, when I got home from work today, what I watched from when I got home till before we started the stream, I think that could have been cut out of the movie completely. There was no need for that part of the movie. And that was
you're talking about the final section?
Yeah, that final epilogue. I don't even think he needed that. I think that was thrown in there because he wanted to add that because he had filmed it. I don't think that was needed as far as the Justice League story. I think they could have.
I think part of that was paying off the tease in Batman versus Superman too.
Yes.
So
let's. All right. So you said I'm going to get right to you, Russ, as your side-by-side comparison. Russ says he did waste time watching this movie. Yes, I'm sorry. Super
so,
fun.
I mean, it is a 4-hour movie, but then I had to break it up, because I just
Oh, I had to too. I watched it in 3 parts. I watched it right after.
Well, I got sick of it after a while. It was
Well, I watched it right after work yesterday. I watched it last night after Billy went to bed. And, okay, Garrett, it's coming.
Garrett's a huge DC fan.
And that's why.
And I think Tina said she's on her way, so.
Okay. It's on the way, Garrett. So if you want to, you can come in. You don't have to turn your camera on, and you can jump in and talk.
Yeah.
So
he likes to talk.
He does love to talk. Super Fluffy Yeti had something, and I kind of got distracted. Snyder was too invested in this movie and loved it so much that he wanted to save everything he filmed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does not require an outsider to bring out the best parts of. Sometimes it does require an outsider to bring the best parts of the film and disregard the rest, which I kind of agree with that. but I think Josh Whedon, he wasn't the person to do it. And I think they were banking on the name bringing in the Marvel fans, and I don't think it did.
That was the big part of it. Joss Whedon has always said he wanted to do a Batgirl movie. He's wanted to do all these DC characters, and so they were at crunch time, and they thought, well, we'll get the Marvel pullover with him too, and it was just a decision they made.
Yeah,
he was not the man for this movie.
No. Well, and I mean, I think that's what hurt the Justice League was the fact that they were trying to compete. Yeah, with Marvel.
Batman is not supposed to be making one-liners and jokes. No. I mean, that's not what the Justice League is.
Exactly. And you know, the sitting on the lasso, the truth telling, they tried to bring some of the humor that he did with, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I love Josh Whedon. I love some of his movies. Marvel Avengers. He did Age of Ultron. He also did, what's the one? Firefly. I love that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel. He is a really good director, knows what he's doing. I just think he was the wrong director or the wrong editor for this movie.
Yeah. I wish Garrett would come on because me and him have talked extensively about this movie. There is so much that was different from the original movie in this movie. I mean, you set aside the time difference. It's just the look and the feel of this movie is nothing compared to that original movie.
No, it's not.
And Super Fluffy Yeti, we will be doing a Firefly discussion. I don't know when we're going to get to it. I do have all of the movies. I think Russ, in fact,
I'm the one who gave them to you.
The last time we were down in, when we were met all in Pittsburgh, he gave me the Firefly DVD collection. I just have to actually sit down and read it. And yeah. I like the character development we got in this. I think they could have taken the character development, not so much Flash, because I think Flash, he was the comic relief, or what they tried to do with the comic relief in this movie, what they tried to do with everybody else in the other ones. I'm not a big fan of it. I like how they portray Flash on TV better than how they did it in the movie. I think that's what they should have taken and put in this movie. It's dirty, it's gritty. The same thing that happened with Solo when you're talking Star Wars. Solo was a bad movie not because it was filmed bad or they had bad actors. It was a bad movie because of the feel of the movie was wrong. I got a fly in here.
Like, I don't understand. Okay, I hate Flash in this movie. I hated him in the original, or in the other Justice League movie. I hated it. I mean, I don't understand, for one, why does he run like that? Like, he's like...
Well, they're showing you in his. Well, again, like you said before, like you said, they did waste a lot of time on slow-mo.
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt that they wasted a lot of time showing him in
slow-mo hot dogs.
Slow-mo hot dogs. Yeah, I thought that was a little too, but
yeah,
but I think how they do Flash on TV and how they show him just streaking across, they could have added and done something like that in this movie. All right, so let's do some side-by-side comparison because we're getting a little crazy now. So you came up with a side-by-side, Russ, and you've seen some things.
Well, I mean, I just have, it's on the website. It's on IGN is what I have. I mean, they went through and made a list. Obviously, excuse me. They talked about the Jared Leto thing at the end with Joker, which was, again, why? And that whole nightmare cliffhanger thing.
There was no reason for that. I didn't think so. I thought, and when I was talking to my buddy at work who helped me watch this movie, I said, at least I didn't get the nightmare scene. He goes, yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that there was no need for it. I think that was the tease for another movie, but that's never going to get made.
It was the tease for another movie. So in Snyder's original vision, there were 3 movies. This was the middle one.
Yeah.
and that was supposed to lead directly into the next one. And that's why he put it in there. But Warner Brothers has come out and said, we're done.
Yeah.
Right. And so with the Snyder cut, he didn't have to include it. Why include something that you know is never going to be made?
Well, because he shot it.
He shot it and it was his vision.
Because it was his thing. Yeah.
And yes, no, I don't think Jared Leto is ever going to be the Joker. He's done. It's over.
Yeah. Although I liked his Joker at the end of this better than I liked his Joker in Suicide Squad.
Oh, well, true.
That is true. And unfortunately, they didn't use the character, and that's probably why they included it. Martian Manhunter. I was completely stoked when he came out of it. When he came out of Lois's apartment and turned into the Martian Manhunter and then back to General. I was stoked. Even that's where like we talked about something, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was so awesome!" And Ken's was like, "What are you talking about?" Because she doesn't know DC, so she doesn't.
And that's the thing, because they just kind of threw him in there.
Hey,
like,
Tina.
unless you know who he is, so like Tina, do you know who Martian Manhunter is?
Oh yeah, totally.
That's why I invited you on, just so we can pick on you.
Well, look, another movie I haven't seen.
Yeah. So you haven't watched the original one either, have you?
Of what?
Of Justice League. Because this is the re-edit.
One Batman, and it was with Michael Keaton.
Okay.
The original Batman or Batman 2? Was it the Joker?
I saw both.
The Joker. Now listen, I'm not a big fan of the Penguin Catwoman movie. I'm not a big fan of that one.
It's my favorite.
No, I think when you're talking about that movie,
was awesome.
How can you watch Michelle Pfeiffer in a cat suit and not love the movie?
Thank you.
Well,
same, but Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton as Batman. Hello.
Well, listen, I didn't say I didn't like the movie because of the appearance. I don't like how Danny DeVito portrayed the Penguin in that movie. And that's what brought it down for me. Name 4 Justice League members, Tina.
Okay. Yeah.
You can do it.
Superman, Batman, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, what's his name? The Wonder Woman. And the other guy is Deadpool also.
No, that's Marvel. Which is a ripoff, if I'm not mistaken, of Slade Wilson, which is and does appear in this movie.
Kind of.
If you want to go there, that was kind of Rob Liefeld's original.
Slade came out before Wade, correct?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not super versed in comic books, but I know that at least.
Yeah. Which that was another change too. Was the Deathstroke scenes were redone, which
were better. I think
so as well. And they drop Bruce's name.
Yeah. Here's the casting that I hate in this movie, and it's that doofus that plays Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I can't stand that kid.
Yeah.
That is not Lex Luthor.
Well, they tried to listen, Jason. They were pushing this kid to be a great actor. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. I mean, he had Social Network, and that's about it.
They have never, other than the Superman animated series, DC has never put a legit Lex Luthor on screen.
Oh, no. Gene Hackman, while he's a great actor.
That was,
No, that was too weird.
Kevin Spacey was not Lex Luthor.
So, Tina's like this because...
Yes. I knew that.
Knew what?
Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Carlos, Disney World Freak? Welcome in.
Hey, buddy.
But I don't think you're absolutely the casting of, was it Jason Eisenberg? Was that his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jesse Eisenberg.
Not right for the character. Now, if they would have casted someone like Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black Law and Order Law and Order Criminal Intent.
Kingpin
from the Daredevil series. That would make more sense for Lex Luthor because that guy really personifies that big bad guy, which Lex Luthor is.
Is Daredevil DC?
No.
Marvel. An excellent character mentioned though.
Yes.
Tina. Applause for that.
Which, Tina also mentioned that the Lantern Corps is mentioned much more in the Snyder Cut, which I enjoy.
But it was only really mentioned once.
Well, you see
once
one
or
lantern.
Twice. You see one lantern.
Which, I mean, that's the way it is. It's supposed to be one lantern per world. And, so we see the one lantern, which I can't even think of the guy's name. The guy that is before Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. But I think that was supposed to be him in the history sequence of with Zeus and with the Amazons and all that. I loved that scene.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why you love that scene? Because I think Chris hit it on the point when we were just texting back and forth, or I forget which one of you two I was talking. It gives you the Lord of the Rings feel.
Well, yeah, it kind of is.
Right, I think it was Chris that was telling it.
I mean, it's the epic reason why they're doing all of this, and that's, to me, that scene should have been the opening scene to explain what we're doing and why, not wait an hour in and then have it be a recap for Wonder Woman.
So, okay, then going back to the opening, I like the opening of this much better than the first movie.
It was 4 hours ago, so come on, just kind of refresh.
Yeah. So the first version, there was no reason for Steppenwolf to come here and do any of this other than he's just a bad guy coming to do bad things.
Right.
At least in this time, with the death of Superman, we understand why the mother box is activated, and we understand why Steppenwolf is here.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Steppenwolf a singer?
Yes, he is. He's also an alien with great big horns.
This is why I love having you on here, Tina, especially for a movie that you have no idea about. It's a discussion, but this is, I mean, even in Nerd Talk, when we talk Nerd Talk, sometimes when we really got into the Marvel series and we did the Marvel movies, Angela was a very quite acquaintance with it. So when we really got into it, giving that outsider's look or that fresh look at it.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved having Tina here, because she can ask those questions of what the chat's asking in real time.
Right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so Steppenwolf is Darkseid's son. Okay, in the comics. And so he has been basically kicked out because he's stupid. And now he's trying to get back on the good graces of Darkseid. And so he's trying to take Earth. He's trying to get the mother boxes back together so that he can bring Darkseid and all of his armada to quickly take over Earth rather than have to fly from their planet to, So it's basically just saving them like 4 months.
But but here's the thing. Darkseid doesn't know that Steppenwolf is doing this. He's doing this on his own. According to this cut that I watched here.
Yes, because he's been banished,
which we don't get in the
original,
in the Wheaton Cup. We don't get why he's there.
Yeah. Well, Darkseid's not even in it. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about this one is that Darkseid's in it. I love Darkseid. I mean, he's always been, Superman versus Darkseid. That should have been the movie.
Yeah.
So.
I just, I liked some of the additions. There were parts of it. The whole reference to the anti-life equation. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this movie and you don't know anything about DC, that part makes no sense. I don't know why I included that in there.
And realistically, for me, not knowing the DC comic books, and this has never been on any of the stuff I've seen before. I mean, I know who Brainiac is. I know who Superman's major enemies because what they did in the comics that was out there.
Yeah.
The anti-life thing totally lost me.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's really no purpose to it. I mean, there's no point in even mentioning it. You know,
I could see the only reason to mention it is the Darkseid's reason for continuously going back to Earth to try to take it over.
But that's what Darkseid does, though. That's just what he does. I mean,
he's here to consume planets.
He's the Thanos of the DC characters. I mean, that's in a way. I mean, he's the one he wants to control the universe. So,
well, Thanos didn't want to control the universe.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying he's the big bad guy compared to Thanos. You know,
I would say Darkseid is more of a mix between Thanos and Galactus, where Galactus wants to consume planets, Thanos wants to be a tyrant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Thanos wants to bring order to the galaxy, and Darkseid wants to bring order at the same time, but it's his order,
he wants
not
to
just
rule
the galaxy's order.
Right.
What was up with the aspect ratio?
That's what, and when the guy who gave this to me said, "Listen, when you watch it, understand it's going to be in 4:3." Mm-hmm. That's a huge difference when you're talking 4:3 compared to 16:9. I think it would have been better in 16:9 instead of 4:3. That's just
Tina. The movie was not in widescale; it was in a little square box, like
it was in portrait mode.
Oh, Jeff must have made the movie.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just going back to the chat, there's Daniel said, "I wonder who would win, Darkseid from Justice League or Thanos with all 6 Infinity Stones?" I don't know.
I bet Darkseid.
But all he has to do is snap.
And I hate that, but probably.
What did you say, Chris? You think?
I think it'd be Darkseid. I hate to admit it, but I believe it would be Darkseid.
Because what if Thanos snaps and Darkseid doesn't disappear?
Yes, but Darkseid could do things before the snap. So.
What is a Darkseid? What does it do?
I love it. I love it. Hold on.
That was like, who is your daddy and what does he do?
Precisely.
Darkseid is the big bad guy.
He is the big baddie.
So he's like the DC Thanos.
That's what we were saying.
Probably worse than Thanos.
Okay.
I equate it more to like Galactus.
Yeah.
And that he consumes worlds.
Yeah.
Wait, with who?
Galactus. That is
That's a Marvel character.
So here,
just know that he's the big bad guy. So
that's fine, but I want to know what he does. What's his credentials?
Okay, so Galactus is an enormously tall character.
Sure.
He's older than the Eternals. Okay. And his main,
which he doesn't know who that is either.
Yes, she doesn't know that either. But he goes. There's
cute.
There's Darkseid.
Handsome.
That's the Darkseid that didn't win Earth the first time. And then when you see him later in the movie, he's more the Darkseid that you see with the glowing eyes and crazy light.
Darkseid has Omega beams and boom tubes.
Lasers.
Did you say boob tubes?
That's what I totally thought he said too.
Boom tubes.
What did you hear, Chris?
I heard boom.
Yeah,
I knew what he was saying.
Because Chris knows what I'm talking about.
I knew what he was talking about.
Okay.
I just love that you said Galactus is a really tall guy.
I'm trying to play it for Tina here. I mean,
I don't want baby talk. I want
Galactus. Galactus
match him up against Thanos. Pretend I'm looking at like a comparison sheet.
Yeah.
Thanos versus Darkseid. What's the credentials? That's what I want to know.
Well, they're both ugly.
Clearly.
They're both evil.
They're both evil in their own ways.
Okay, so Thanos has the 6 Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And he can snap and
Yeah.
erase people, things. And he's really strong. That's all I get from Thanos.
Now, Darkseid is very strong. He's also has a lot of minions that probably will do a lot of damage.
Yes.
Okay.
I think of Darkseid kind of as he's the Godfather, and he's the one sending out all the minions, and he doesn't fight unless he has to. But when he does, be very afraid. So
all right. So get back to the movie.
Yeah.
So Darkseid's a bad guy.
Darkseid's a bad guy. Let's see. I like the changes that they made with Steppenwolf, which both visually he's cooler looking.
Visually, they had more time to create and do the CGI complete for the Snyder Cut. So while I can knock Whedon's CGI Steppenwolf, they had more time to do this. They had more time to clean it up. I think they rushed the Justice League the first time and didn't put enough time and energy into the CGI to make it as good as it could have been. This is the Steppenwolf we should have had in the original cut. They just needed more time to do the CGI for it.
Yeah. But then too, his character development is there. And that's to me, that's what draws you into the story is, okay, well, why is he here? I didn't care why he was there last. I mean, I knew why he was there last time because I knew the comics. But if you don't know the comics, you don't know who Steppenwolf is. You don't care anything about him. Other than that he's getting these boxes and trying to stick them together.
Yeah.
Good music.
And I think maybe that's what was one of the biggest problems with the original cut is the original cut is made for the comic book nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And not for the casual viewing nerd.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with DC all around. They just expect their audience to know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, because let's talk about a little bit about the characters because everybody knows who Superman is. And if you saw again, the Batman versus Superman is what sets this one up because he's been killed. So we know Superman's story. Everybody knows who Batman is.
Correct.
Everybody knows who Batman is. If pretty much everybody knows who Wonder Woman is, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, the Wonder Woman film also kind of helps set her character up.
Right.
Aquaman, you kind of know who he is.
I liked how they portray Aquaman in this movie and even the original movie.
Is my favorite of all of the characters in the new DC. He's my favorite. I like that they made him gritty, the Arthur Curry that he's the king Arthur Curry from the comics. He's not the cartoon one that the orange jumpsuit that talks to fish. Even though they make the joke in that in the original, which that's something else that they took out. All of the humor is gone in this cut. Which I think helps to break it up.
They tried the humor with the Flash. Example, slow-mo hot dog.
But he's just stupid. That's what. So the Flash is the one that I hate the most. Flash, I think they really robbed him of who he is in the comics. I mean, because he's not stupid. And in this he's just silly and goofy. And I mean, it's he's smart, but I mean, at the same time, he's just so silly and goofy all the way through this. And
that scene where the bat signal turns on and he's like, "Ooh, that's your, because you're the."
Yeah, I mean, it's just stupid.
And realistically, yeah, they portrayed him bad. And like again, I will go back to how they treat the Flash on TV.
Yes,
is a way better Flash.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and that's the thing too, that they grab things from the show, and that's the other issue is that they assume that you may have seen the CW stuff, and then you bring it over to this, and it's different because it's different actors, it's different, look, it's different feel, it's the character's totally different, but then they use backstory from the shows for you to understand what's going on. So I know, Carlos, you're totally lost on it too, so I'm sorry.
Carlos put a comment for you, Tina.
And see, Garrett, I don't necessarily think I don't like him as Superman. I don't like Seville as.
I actually do. I think if anybody now listen, the guy who played him in Superman Returns did look a lot like Christopher Reeve. Right. He looked a lot like Superman, like Christopher Reeve's Superman, and I understood where they were going with that. I liked how they handled this Superman, this actor as Superman. It's not the same Superman that you're expecting from the 1980s and the Superman Returns. You're getting a much grittier version of Superman.
Yes.
So, speaking of the Superman portion of it, then, did you catch the Lois Lane Easter eggs? In that she's pregnant.
I did see that. I caught that. Welcome in, Glenn.
Well, and that's another reason why they say that. Well, she's the future. Mm-hmm. She's the she's what saves us all. Which then also hints at the nightmare thing at the end. But again, you have to know the comics to understand what that is.
Yeah.
And if you have watched the Batman versus Superman movie, that was, and I think that was the beginning of Snyder's problem, is that he tried to, come on, the Martha line, save Martha. Mm-hmm. That was probably the worst line in all of cinematic universe. The Flash that you see in the dream sequence that we had where he says Lois Lane's the key, is the Flash that we see at the end of the Snyder cut. And that's where I never put two and two together with the original cut of this movie and this cut, where you don't see older Flash, more experienced Flash. Mm-hmm. Welcome in, Captain Akron.
So with Superman has always been my favorite. I mean, I've read all of the original comics. I've got them all in anthologies. I mean, it takes up a whole shelf over here of all the Superman. Superman is what I grew up on, and he's always been my hero, even more so than the Marvel stuff. I mean, Superman has always been a favorite. Batman close second. The reason I don't much care for any of these new DCU movies is the fact that you cannot relate to any of the characters. And obviously we can't relate to Superman because he's an alien. He's, he has all these powers and all that. But that's something that you could get in the comics, in the Christopher Reeve version, in the ones that the older versions of him. He has so much more personality. In this movie, Superman, and in the other movies, he's just dead inside.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, he just stands there and he's, well, I'm Superman, and but that, who cares? Nobody. I don't care anything about him because he can't die, and we know that. He can't. Nothing can hurt him. They make these characters into too much like gods, and they even say that in the movie that well, you're fighting. It's gods versus gods. So what can we do? And that's the thing. It's there's no relating to these characters compared to the Marvel. Whereas the Marvel, there's something that these guys are real people. They can die. Some of them have powers, but most some of them don't. That's a thing that you relate to them better in the movies.
So Kenzie said, "Agreed, Russ. Superman is boring." This is a girl who watched some anime One Punch something, and I'm like, okay, the guy can kill everybody with one punch.
I want to hear Tina's thoughts.
What?
What are your do Do you? I mean, you know who Superman and Batman are, right?
You know who Superman and Batman is, correct?
Yeah.
And you and I are the same age, so you grew up on the same stuff that I did.
Yeah.
So, comparing, and again, I know you haven't watched these movies, but comparing the two, what do you think?
Superman and Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Batman, hands down. Always, always. It will be Batman for me.
She likes it when a man talks gruff.
Yes, she does. Please stop.
Hey, Ange, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Angela.
Oh.
Hey.
We need a synthesizer. Let's sing happy birthday.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
We're going to make me do this again.
Y'all gonna make him lose his mind. Up in here.
Up in here. Gonna make him go out.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up.
So, I mean, and just getting back to the movie itself, so Superman and Batman, you like the Batman character. And if I'm not mistaken, even in the comics, Batman and Superman, when they do fight, Batman always comes out on top because he uses his knowledge and technology and what's Superman's weaknesses to help him, correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Superman basically doesn't think he can be hurt. In the comics. I mean, he does not expect that Bruce is going to throw kryptonite at him.
Pride comes before the fall.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
So, no, I mean, I enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman, but again, Snyder took out all of his personality for his cut compared to the original, because there's nothing in there that shows that he's human, in the Snyder cut, whereas they have the whole relationship between him and Diana in the original. You see him get beat up and bruised, and he's trying to keep up with the other heroes, but yet he's still the leader. And in this one, I could care less that he's the leader, so. Well,
I mean, I go back to the whole Batman, Superman, even in the animated series, when you're talking back to animated series, if you've watched them when you were younger, the time they actually did the crossover, when Batman met Superman in the animated series, all Superman did was use his X-ray vision and see who Batman was, and then he was arrogant and went home, and then he realized that Bruce Wayne or Batman was pretty much placed a tracker or did something and tracked him back to who his. Yeah. So Batman has that spy technology and the investigative technology that will put him ahead in some of those aspects. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're up.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Angela.
Just roar.
Happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, you can't breathe.
You needed your Paul Williams outfit though for that.
Yeah, that would have helped.
I gotta say, that is one of the best singing of Happy Birthday I have ever heard.
Whoa.
That was good.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Now I owe Shep $25 for copyright.
So some of the changes, I mean, in the original cut, we got the nightmare sequence before. In this cut, we get the nightmare sequence at the end. Mm-hmm. I do, and you do get the Lord of the Ring feel with the alliance of men, Atlanteans, and
Amazonians.
And to come to find out that the Amazons were betrayed. That's why they went off into their own. Atlantis sunk. And I like how they treat the Atlanteans, where, they do, I think, I Aquaman is way stronger than most of the other Atlanteans, which because of the king bloodline. And the same thing with Deanna, with her bloodline making her stronger than other Amazons. Go ahead, Chris. I know you were going to say something.
Speaking of that scene, though,
Ken's. Thanks, Ken's.
There was a moment there where when he killed that Green Lantern, he almost got the ring.
Almost.
And
I thought
could you
was
imagine
cool.
Darkseid with the ring? That would have been.
Now, with Darkseid with grabbing the Green Lantern ring, would it give him, because the whole idea behind Green Lantern is the power of what? Hope, right?
Will.
Now, wouldn't he contort that ring to a different color if he had placed it on? Or would it use his will to dominate the ring and take over the Green Lantern Corps?
I don't know enough Green Lantern to be able to answer that. My thought is, in the little bit of knowledge that I've seen, read and seen, is it would have been a green Darkseid. I mean, he would have stayed green, and it would have.
I think, and again, this is going in the comics.
If he could have controlled it,
I think what happens is that because the power doesn't come from the ring, it comes from the lantern,
right?
And so he would have to. It would either change the lantern, or it would change Darkseid. So that kind of a thing.
Welcome in Gonzo's Adventures with Gonzo's, and he starts off. Marvel is overrated. Let's talk Star Wars.
We're not even talking Marvel.
We're not even talking about. We're talking DC. This is something that on Nerd Talk we haven't discussed DC. So I actually proposed doing something in the middle somewhere between some things. I'm talking about this on Nerd Talk, but then again, if we're covering it here, 2 out of the 4 members of Nerd Talk, or 2 out of the 5, are right here. I mean, just because you grab the ring doesn't mean you're going to get your power from the lantern either, correct?
No.
Right.
No, because the Watchers control the lanterns. So
right.
Or not the Watchers, but I mean the Lantern Corps, not the Watchers. They're the same characters from Marvel to DC, but
I'll be back in just a sec.
Okay. Right. I mean, and then you get some of the banter between I like the meeting of Aquaman and Batman here, where Aquaman pretty much tells him, "Go scratch."
Yeah. Which, because I mean, Aquaman, Arthur Curry, he's a lone wolf. He doesn't want to be on a team. So yeah. And Kenzie, don't attempt to watch any of the Green Lantern stuff because it's terrible.
Well, there was a Green Lantern Hal Jordan series on the Cartoon Network, which wasn't 100% bad.
Now, the cartoon Justice League is good. The old animated series of the cartoon.
Oh my goodness.
League, I loved it.
Oh, with the Legion of Doom in the swamp?
Yep.
Oh,
well, no, I'm talking about that too, but the newer ones, like the Batman and Superman adventures that we were talking about earlier.
That Justice League was good.
Yeah, that are our age group. So
there is an older Justice League.
The original Justice League.
With the Wonder Twins?
Yep. Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom, that's the Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
But that was awesome. That's where I
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the Justice League.
Yeah, where's the Wonder Twins?
And yes, Garrett, I absolutely love the Green Lantern comics. They're amazing comics. So
I did like the battle scene. I like that the Earthmen or the settlers of Earth beat back Darkseid before he got powerful, or before and it was the only planet that succeeded in stopping him.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think that's the best scene. I think it's better than the ending. I hated the ending. Hated it. Like, Superman won it. They sent Flash back in time to change things and fix it.
Okay.
That's like, why?
You mean with the ending of this movie?
Yes.
Well, they really didn't do anything but the dream sequence. They didn't. I don't
I
see.
wasn't sure which ending you meant.
Well, I'm talking about like
dystopian ending.
I'm talking about the Steppenwolf ending, the actual ending to the movie, not the dream sequence ending. The actual the end of the
where it should have ended.
Where it should have ended.
Correct.
Steppenwolf again.
They get destroyed, they lose, and then Flash is able to go back in time and fix it, just like they did in Superman 1. Where he flies around the Earth a billion times real fast.
That was horrible. Yes, I the original Superman, the flying back in time, that was kind of stupid. But if you look at the Flash character and his time traveling, I could see that working. I could see that in the movie theater. I can see that. Yes, they probably got a little corny with it because they used it twice in the movie.
Well, and that's another problem I have with it, is that because there are so many different things going on, it's hard to keep up with who is doing what. To me, I mean, it's that's why I didn't care for it as much, is because there's just so much going on. So we were talking about Angela watching this or not, and I absolutely said no, dude, you'll hate this. and Jeff will hate you more because you'll be asking every 5 seconds, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on.
See, now Garrett says time travel fixes everything.
I know, but that's just lazy.
It is a lazy concept, because even I'm a personal do not like how they handle time travel in Endgame, and I don't know, and I don't.
It's not my favorite thing either.
If they didn't use the time travel because if you've seen the original cut, you've seen how they bring Superman back. Mm-hmm. In the original cut, how they brought Superman back was stupid anyway. It's stupid in this movie, But in the original cut, there was no going back in time. It wasn't drawing the box back out of the ooze or whatever it was. I like that. It was a perfect timing. They tried in this movie. They tried to make it a little bit more intense, saying that the ship is telling them to not open the mother box. I think if they really just did the original cut of the Superman resurrection and just kept it there, I think it would have been fine. They did keep a very good fight sequence at the Superman Memorial.
Yes.
That was a awesome and epic fight sequence.
Yes.
Especially when the Flash is running and Superman just looks and the Flash is shocked that anybody is as fast as him, because he's never seen anybody as fast as him.
I know you didn't like the slow-mo shots, Russ, but I thought that those slow-mo shots in that sequence accentuated the speed that Superman moved.
Yeah, I mean, that there was good, but I mean, again, you don't have to do it every 5 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
There was overkill with the slow-mo. I do agree, and it probably added some time to the movie. Again, 4 hours. They could have changed some of this. But at the end with the Steppenwolf, the battle with Steppenwolf, the time travel, I could see that working because the Flash can go back in time. And that's part of his thing. He's gone back in time. If you looked at the TV series, they didn't do any of the consequences that you get in the TV series every time he goes back in time, because in the TV series, every time the Flash goes back in time, he changes something to affect the future. Mm-hmm. Which they could have easily have had Flash run around and go back in time and stop Superman doing something. They didn't campy that out, which was good.
Did you see Mike Wheeler's comment?
Let's see. I am the only one. Am I the only one? Every time I hear somebody say Steppenwolf, I start singing "Step in Time" by Mary Poppins. No, Tina is too.
No. I've escalated from Born to Be Wild, the other one,
Magic Carpet Ride,
and Hoochie Coochie, and then Rick Derringer's Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, which I love that song. I forgot all about, and now I added it to my playlist, and now I'm on to 38 Special. So yeah, we're on a road today.
Tina, thank you for those sound bites.
I was going to ask you, Rock and Roll Hoochie Cooch, that's going to be on a Peach Stream.
Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. I'm gonna stop now.
No, don't stop. It's awesome.
I will bring up one final thing that I just hated, and then I'm going to start ripping on this movie.
No. We're about 5 minutes on, and
this is good
because I liked it just watching it, and having somebody's other opinion that doesn't 100% agree with mine. And as a whole, I thought this was a great movie. But go ahead.
The language.
Yeah.
Why was it necessary?
But it was only once or twice, right?
It was multiple times.
Yeah,
I've only caught on
multiple times, and I understand they're making it more dark and gritty and all of that, but it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. I thought Batman only said the F word once at the end of the movie.
They all said it. They all said it at least once, pretty much. So I mean, yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah.
The only time. Well, here's the thing. I don't think Superman said it, did he?
No, but.
So the only time it caught out to me and it just popped was when Batman said it, and I was like, I mean,
Cyborg says it multiple times.
Well, then again, Cyborg probably, and let's just say, and I mean, we're about 5 minutes out. The background and development of Cyborg was much, much better in this.
Yes, he needs his own movie.
And they could have done a Cyborg movie, and I think that's where DC screwed up compared to Marvel. Where Marvel, they started with Iron Man, they started with Iron Man 2, they got a tool shot deal out of that. Then they brought in Thor. It wasn't until they said there could possibly a building of the universe where DC decided, well, I have Superman, I'm going to do Batman vs. Superman, and I'm going to go straight into Justice League. They tried to jump the 5 movies to get to the Justice League.
Yes.
If they would have given us a Flash movie, if they would have given us a Cyborg movie, that might have done, and maybe if not anything, they should have started with the Cyborg movie to start this whole series off, just like they did with Iron Man.
I think if they wanted to save it now, they could start with a Cyborg movie and lead into a Teen Titans team up and a Young Justice team up. Not using any of the original Justice League characters to basically reboot the same way that MCU is now rebooting,
which they have to
with a Phase 4 and bringing in new characters. This is their way to distance themselves from everything that's already been made, but yet still hint at it, and it's still there. But they can totally rework all of it.
Right. I mean, if you do go ahead.
No, you first.
No. I was going to say a Young Justice League makes sense to me. You start out with a Nightwing. You start, a Nightwing, a Cyborg.
Well,
don't go with Robin. Don't go with Robin. Just jump right into Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of the movie, show him the change from Robin to Nightwing, and move on from there. And then Cyborg getting a good movie, and then some of the other ones. I think that's a good way to start it out, and they would build those mini movies or those single movies, then develop it. If they do it right, they could beat Marvel in the long run because DC's been around a lot longer and they have a good catalog.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think DC has always stuck to these 6 core characters, and that's their downfall. Marvel knows how to develop their characters, and Kenzie was talking about it a little bit ago. But they know how to develop their characters. Their characters are much more relatable, and so it's easier to like them. And there are more morally gray characters, which I know again she loves.
Really?
But there are more morally gray characters rather than the black and white characters. That DC is. It's it's either okay, you're good or you're bad. There's no middle ground. So
you got any last thoughts, Chris?
So my 2 last thoughts are, that's why I think the Marvel does so much better than DC, is because DC characters are overpowered characters that people can't relate to.
Yeah.
Oh, I can understand.
Marvel are relatable characters. The other thing, talking about Cyborg, initially when they were doing this movie, it was supposed to spin into a Flash movie, a Cyborg movie, a Batman movie, and then more Wonder Woman movies. Because of the whole issues with Joss Whedon on this movie and Warner Brothers' whole investigation into that situation, Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, is one of the big people in that whole argument and everything. I don't know that you'll see another Cyborg movie. At least not continuing from this story.
No, but you know what? They could also reboot this whole series.
Well, they're going to have to at some point. But
if they want to keep the characters,
the next Batman movie that comes out is nothing like anything we've seen before.
Well, then again,
the
next Batman movie is going to be the kid from Twilight series.
Yeah,
so.
It's supposed to be more like the Batman. I think, isn't it? Yeah, yes. The Batman. Yeah.
I mean, look what they did with the Joker. If they could do with the new Batman what they did with the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, you might get a really great movie.
Yeah,
and that's a whole other movie I could tear apart.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Don't want to do that. Kenzie will. Probably
I know. Well, that's what I know.
And rip you apart.
Kenzie and I have talked about it, and she knows that I hate it. So,
all right.
But I know she loves it. So.
Garrett says none of these people are relatable and they are super beings, even though I do have the ability to go invisible. And I really smelly farts like the guy in Mystery Man. You guys think that Affleck should have gotten a Batman solo movie? I think so. I think, believe it or not, I liked Ben Affleck in this. This is not the Ben Affleck that you got in Daredevil. What you think, Chris? Did he do a good Batman?
I liked his Batman in this version. I was not a big fan. I still thought he was the best part of the Joss Whedon version of this movie, but I liked him even better in this version. And I think Ben Affleck took a bunch of flack for being Batman in this when he did a real good job.
Tina's doing a great job down there. Because now she's everybody. Let's go fighting. All right, so Russ, any last thoughts?
No, I mean I'm sorry. I totally hate this movie.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. I've torn it to pieces, but I mean
it is what it is, and
I told you it was going to be interesting.
Yeah, it was,
and I thought it was good. But I it's not my favorite. Never will be. Still don't understand why it was 4 hours.
Yeah, listen. Like I said, I think the last half hour could have been cut off this movie, and if they didn't use slow-mo so much, I think they would have been back, probably knocked off a good 15-20 minutes off this movie.
I mean, I think he could have re-edited it down to be the same length as the other one, and still gotten everything you wanted in there to tell the story.
Yeah, that opening battle, the battle scene with the Lord of the Rings type battle scene, that could have been cut a lot shorter. They probably could have had 5 minutes cut right out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know Tina's never watched it. I do want to thank Tina, Russ, and Chris for coming on, not wasting time. Chris, what do you got coming up, or anything coming up? Are you doing the NASCAR this Sunday?
Yes, we'll be at Martinsville this Sunday. The Tricky Paperclip. So
I'm still waiting on my plane ticket.
Okay, it'll be there sometime, and I'll probably be on with Shep Saturday night, and there was something else. Oh, Tracy, the next one we should do should be King Kong versus Godzilla.
I have to watch it.
That's next on my list to watch. I've got it on the HBO Max. I'm going to watch it. So
I'm going to have to watch it.
I put that in there for you, Garrett.
Sweet.
All of those movies I've enjoyed. The King Kong and
those are good movies.
The new ones.
Yeah.
The new one's really good.
Garrett says, I'm going to give you a slow-mo hug. Russ, what do you got coming up, buddy?
So Saturday, I'm going to be over at Grand Floridian, just doing a chilled hangout stream. And then Sunday, we got Nerd Talk on This Is Our Dreams channel, which, speaking of, is next Dreaming with the Mouse, which I think it's going to be.
It's probably on right now.
Yeah, it's probably getting ready, or yeah. But Jeff's coming home. So
Jeff's coming home. Tina, what do you got coming up?
So tonight at 10:30, I'm on with Gonzo, The Adventures of Gonzo, for Throwback Thursday. We are doing $1 Million Duck trivia, and he's got some prizes. So yeah.
Sweet. And for me, I got Not Wasting Time, which is next week on Thursday. Haven't decided what we should do. I'd really like to do a Firefly episode, but and Nerd Talk on Sunday. No pizza stream tomorrow. And Kenzie Days is going to do her hour from 4:30 to 5:30. Book club is currently in flux. We're waiting. I think we settled on a day. We settled on a time. I think now it's all about us going out and buying the book and starting reading if we haven't bought the book. So I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank again the Live Place for hosting Not Wasting Time. Please go check out our friends Dreaming with the Mouse, Jeff and Angela, and Kelly and Mama Mouse. If they're all together today, hop over and say happy birthday to Angela because she deserves a happy birthday. A wonderful woman. Thank you.
You don't have to sing it to her.
And do it in slow motion.
Do it in slow mode. Thank you for giving me your Thursday. Have a great day. All right. And anytime now.